What is up, you beautiful motherfuckers, and welcome back to the AstroDex channel. It's me, Astro, or Salem, either or works for me. I hope you guys are doing an okay day today. I'm doing pretty good. I just got off work and I'm here recording a brand new video. Another story time. Let's go. I ran a poll the other day, which I'm honestly going to start doing more often. If you want to start checking my community tab, I'm going to start doing more like polls and stuff for what videos I should do, and you guys voted over there. So the story time for today is when I got trapped and chased through my high school's basement. And it's a pretty interesting video. I hope you guys enjoy it. And we're gonna jump right into the video, okay? So we're gonna flash back to sophomore year Salem here. This was a little over 3 years ago now, I think, because I was either 15 turning 16, I think, and this was in around, I want to say September of my sophomore year. So it was pretty like fresh into the year. We had only been in school for like a month or two at this point. And this was in my film class, my video productions class. This year, when I had this video production class, I had a teacher. My teacher was pretty much brand new to teaching. It was his first year teaching. So, like, his assignments were kind of just go around the school and record shit and, like, do something fun or, like, do, like, a short film or something. Like, it was pretty loose. It was pretty, like, not a whole lot of, like, guardrails or, like, limitations on what you could not do with your project. It was pretty open. So it was me. We're gonna call him Steve. My buddy Steve, okay? Me, my buddy Steve, and we're gonna call this guy Ryan, okay? Me, Steve, and Ryan are in a group together, and we're like, okay, so we want to do something cool, and we want to do something different from our classmates for our project. We had one film project before this, but it was kind of boring. We kind of just recorded around the school, but we wanted to do something cool, okay? We wanted to do like a short film or something, like a horror movie or something. Like we wanted to do something cool. So, on this fateful day, we go and we get our hall pass, which was pretty much just an all access pass to anywhere in the fucking school, and we could have just left. We could have just gone outside if we wanted to. So we get the hall pass and we go from there's 3 stories to my high school. We're on the 3rd story. We go down to the 1st story, okay? And we're like, okay, like what do we record? What could be new? So we go and so we think, okay, wait, the auditorium low key like could have some spots in it that we've never seen before. So we go into the auditorium and the auditorium has this weird setup where you can kind of there's a crawl space under the like stage where there's a piano, and I'm assuming it was for like old like productions and stuff because our school's like over 100 years old, because everything down there was really dusty and it was clear none of it had been touched in decades. But there was this little door. There was this little door in the crawl space that was locked. We couldn't like get it open, but we were really like confused because we're like, okay, so why is there like this tiny door like in like this crawl space? Like it's not like a full size door. It literally looks like a mini person door. And so we're like, okay, let's like look into it. And so the auditorium kind of has like a maintenance hall attached to it that goes and wraps around the back of the auditorium to where like, obviously all like the sound system stuff is and all of that. So we go into the maintenance hall, and the way the maintenance hall is set up is it's kind of like when you come out of the auditorium to into the maintenance hall, it's kind of like a T, where to your right is like it's where the maintenance hall actually goes to get to the back. That's to your right, okay? And it's this really long stretch hallway with a bunch of windows, so it's really like lit out there because it's daytime. And then to your left is a set of like 4 stairs. And then it's another T intersection. To your right is an exit, and to your left is another door to the auditorium, which is like the backstage door. And there's another door. And we had never seen this door open before, okay? We just assumed this was a janitor's closet or something, right? It's a staircase. It's this really old, decrepit looking staircase. And we just kind of look at each other because we're like, okay, why the fuck is there this like decrepit ass staircase in the maintenance hall? And obviously it goes down into the basement. And so we had heard like rumors about the basement. Obviously, it's a high school. Kids are going to have rumors. There was a lot of rumors about our basement because our school is so old, like legitimately turning 100 in like 2 years. The basement allegedly has really old classrooms and like a bowling alley and shit down there. And so, being shithead little 16-year-olds who want to get something cool for their video project and an all access pass, we just help ourselves to the basement. And let me keep in mind, if you're the only time that students are allowed in the basement is when theater like goes down there to get props and shit. Okay, which I had not done up to this point. I didn't get to do that until my senior year. So, we go into the basement, and when you first step down, it's like concrete steps, right? Really steep ass concrete steps. and it goes down, and you're in this room, right? And this room is just packed full of furniture. Like it looks like a hoarder lives there. Like it's all just like old furniture and like old plywood and like fence and like just a bunch of random material. It's a bunch of material and like half put together furniture items. There's like only like a slim walkway that's been like carved out of all this shit, and it leads to an intersection, okay? We go to our left first, okay? When we get to our left, we get to the end of the room, like when we turn left, and there's the door, like the little mini door that was in the crawl space. It's still locked. We never ended up getting it open, but we figured out where that led, which led pretty close in like proximity if you really think about it. There's a doorway to the right and it's pitch black in the door. Like it's just an open doorway. There's no actual door there. There's no doors in the basement, but like we walk in, we turn our flashlight on, and I don't know what it was. I think it was maybe like the auditorium generator because it was a really big machine that was humming, but just like it was just a room with a giant like engine in it or something. And like we were really confused because we're 16-year-olds and we had never seen it before. So we kind of just came back out the way we went because it was a dead end. And we decided to backtrack over to the T intersection again because the other way was like two steps up and then a doorway. So we go up and through that, right? And fucking this is the part where it gets really hard to describe where everything is because I don't even know the full size of the basement. Like what we went through, I feel like was only a very small fraction of what was very obviously a very vast underground like tunnel. It was really big, but there was pipes everywhere that kind of formed almost walls of just like pipe. It wasn't like actual walls, but it was a good set of like girthy pipes that went up. So it would make pretty much like a barrier that you couldn't really crawl past. But we just kind of crawl around for a bit. It went from like concrete to like dirt. It was like all dirt floor. And so we're walking around in this with our flashlights because like we can't fucking see anything. There's no lights down here. And there's nobody down here either. I don't know why the basement door was wide open because there was absolutely nobody down here until later on in the story. So we continue going through, right? And we find a metal chair in a corner, like in this sunken corner. It was so weird. This basement was so decrepit. It didn't even feel like I was in a school basement. It felt like I was in like a horror video game or something. Just because of how shit like the state of everything was. It was very unkempt, which is probably why our school always had like construction going on and shit. But after a while, we kind of just ended up looping back to where we were because we didn't want to go out too far because we had a time limit. We had like maybe 20 minutes left to get back to our class because we could only be in there for that class. If we stayed after, we would have ended up skipping and we most definitely would have been caught. So I kind of panicked and I was like, okay, guys, like, let's go back. We're done. Like, we got cool footage of the basement and like that's it. Like we're good. So we leave, right? And we're kind of upset because we ended up sitting in class for the last like 15 minutes just being like, damn, we really had more time. Like we could have done more. And that was really regretful. And that was pretty much the end of that day. Cut to 2 days later when I had the class again. And my buddy Steven, remember him when I said his name and then never mentioned him again because nothing notable happened on the first day. Steven is like, guys, I left my AirPods in the basement. What? Okay, so let's get this straight. This guy, this fucking genius, my friend Steven, left his AirPod case in the basement. He set it down somewhere and just left it there, I guess, because I don't know. I don't know how this was like a smart idea. We're like, fuck, okay. So we get the pass and we go back down, and once you know it, the door's closed and it's locked. Fucking amazing. Okay. So, Steven, bad news. Your AirPods are now locked in the basement and we can't get back down there. So what do we do? So we go back to the crawl space in the auditorium and we try that door. Obviously, it's fucking locked because it's ancient. So, and then this genius Ryan gets a screwdriver and unscrews the entire door handle, thinking it would undo the lock. So, after like 10 minutes, we ended up destroying the door. The door handle completely fell off. Like it was completely destroyed. And not like destroyed, but like it was broken in a way that we didn't know how to fix it. And the lock was still there. So we just ended up breaking the door handle without actually like getting in. So that plan kind of fell through pretty quickly. Now what? Okay, so game plan. We could go to administration and rat ourselves out and say we went in the basement and that Steven lost his fucking AirPods down there in the hope that they would let us go back down and get them, which I fucking doubt they would. Or we try to find another entrance to the basement because we had heard rumors of other entrances. So that's what we ended up doing. So we circled the school for like 10 minutes, okay? And it's a pretty decently sized school. We have like 2,000 students. We keep looking for areas we think would be entrances to the basement. And finally, okay, in this hallway, we have this hall. It's the art hallway, okay? It's kind of like a T intersection. You walk through, and there's two sets of staircases on each side of you that are behind you as you walk through it, okay? So when you walk through and you get into the stair room, those two doors that are usually like propped open, if you close one, there's a maintenance door behind it. Pretty good hiding spot, actually. Like, nobody ever would think that there would be a door behind the door that's propped open, which I don't think was fully intentional, but obviously, like, they don't want to know where, like, they don't want students knowing where maintenance tunnels are. We did, though, and guess what? The door was wide open. Okay, sweet. So, what do? We take the gamble and we go back down. This is a different part, by the way. We go down and it's this really long staircase down and it's fully lit. And we're like, okay. And there's a pause in the middle of the staircase where there's a door and it's about the level where the AirPods would be. We open that and it's pipes. Like it's like just like a wall of pipes with like a crevice through you could try to crawl through, but it's a heavy risk trying to crawl through that. Or you can go down the staircase. So we ended up going down the staircase. What's down there? First off, this tiny little booth office that is the only thing lit in this entire like giant room. It's a really open room. You can tell even though it's dark and you can see in the distance that the room just keeps going. And there's a lot of humming. So, from what we could deduce from that and eventually looking around with our flashlights, we were in the boiler room. Okay, so let me tell you one thing. If you get caught in the boiler room of a high school, there is a good chance you will be expelled. Like, that is super heavy no-no. Like, you're trespassing. That's a really big rule breaker right there. You cannot be doing that. So, obviously, we don't want to get caught. So, we're like, okay, fuck. We do look around, though. We really just did not give a fuck. We did not register the repercussions if we were to get caught. So, we just kept exploring, and we were filming all of this. We filmed all of it. And fucking, okay, so we finally get done recording everything and we're like, okay, we had our fun. We didn't find a way to get to the AirPods, but we got more footage. Okay. We go back up the staircase to leave. As he's stepping up, Ryan turns around and he goes, someone's opening the door. Go. And all of our hearts sink. And I kid you not, I don't know how, but Brian somehow held the door shut as this teacher was trying to like open the door. And we all got down and somehow he dashed too. And we all just run straight through this dark ass boiler room in the pitch dark, somehow really quietly too. I know how to be really light on my feet and not make a lot of noise, and apparently they did too. So we weren't stomping running, we were very lightly running, and we dash. And we run like a good like 50 feet through this dark ass like boiler room. And I can't hear any running or chasing behind me. Like I don't hear any screams or anything. But obviously I'm not gonna turn around and check. So I just keep going. At the end of this boiler room is a really long, like metal and like wire, like staircase up to like a storage room or something. Okay. So we dash up that. This like lit storage room that just had a bunch of like cardboard in it, and there's a door. And finally, we're like, okay, fuck, we need to get out of here, like right fucking now. This door had one door handle in, and the other one was out, and so you could see outside, like you could see the light from outside through the door handle. And fucking I don't know how Steven gets his hand through the hole and opens the other door. I kid you not, the relief that washed over me, like when the sun hit my face, was actually insane. I genuinely felt like I had been through a horror movie. It was insane. Like I felt so good. We were like, yes, we made it out. And there was no cameras where we exited out to because we exited out onto the football field. Like, how? The entrance we went into to get to the boiler room was on the other side of the school. We somehow traversed like a good distance of the school and got out to the football field and got off pretty much scot-free. We were never called into the office for this. Like we never got caught for it. Until now when I admit it, but I haven't given any names. So, oh well. But yeah, we never got caught. We did get caught later for a different incident involving the auditorium, which, could be a video on its own, whatever. But that's about it for the story. We didn't end up making the horror film, sadly. We scrapped it because I didn't know how to edit in a monster. So that's pretty much how it ended. But that's still a pretty cool story. And the one last thing is that Steven never ever got his AirPods back. Like to this day, I think they're still in the basement. Like he never got them back, which I feel so sorry for him. But also, man, like, come on. You left your AirPods in the basement. That's a fault of your own. But that's pretty much it for the story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys liked it, you should comment your own stories, or comment what you thought about this story. I know this isn't like my normal stories where I talk about drugs, but whatever. I don't want to only talk about my experiences with substances. I want to talk about other stuff too. And I thought this was a fun story. If you want to check out my second channel and submit to the inbox, which I want to eventually do a video on. But that's going to be about it from me, and I'll talk to you guys later.